Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit south node, sextile or trine one's natal south node. Now, this transit could manifest in what you're going away from, your past, what you're naturally proficient in at the time, what could be affecting you to your detriment, can be in harmony with what you're going away from, the past, and what you have some natural ability for, and I'm going to elaborate and expound on this. Now, this could be a very harmonious and auspicious time for as far as your past being something that you can go away from, because the South Node, is, could be about what you're going away from, or could be about your past. And the natal South Node is what you could be going away from. So it's actually a very positive, transit for that. And you're talking also about, it's really about having more of that ability to get away from something that could be, affecting you adversely in your life. If you have your natal south node, say it's in Virgo in the fifth house like mine, it could be being overly, cynical or critical or judgmental regarding lovers or even children, and trying to get away from that energy. Now, the natal south node could also be, of course, what you have a natural built ability for. It could be, an area where you're naturally proficient. Me having the natal south node in Virgo in the fifth house, it could be about, being able to extrapolate sports data or some kind of analytical and intellectual amusement and enjoyment. But it's not something that's supposed to be emphasized, with the second half of life. Generally, up to about age 30 and 35 is when the south node energy is more emphasized. But anyway, it can be about people that are prominent in your past, may be in harmony with what you have a natural ability for, though, at the time of this transit. And it's also, again, it could be very auspicious for trying to get away from something that may be affecting you adversely. Now, what I want to state is, the sextile. Some may wonder, what is the difference between sextile or trine aspect in contrast to the conjunction transit. Now, the sextile and trine is auspicious. You have very flowing energy in this instance between the transit of the south node and the natal south node position. But when you have, conjunctions are, very integrating, amalgamating and intensifying. Conjunction is also a neutral aspect. And a neutral aspect, of course, can have good and bad qualities in them. It can be, doing, like, say, if you have, the transit of the south node making a conjunction to your natal south node placement, well, it may manifest it. Very intensified energy could be doing something that you feel you have some natural ability for with someone within your past that is prominent in your past. But the thing is, it can be to the point where you become oblivious to other things and to the exclusion of everything else in your life. So, again, the conjunction is a very strong concentration of energy, and when you have the sextile and trine, it's more flowing, and the energy can work well together, but not really to the exclusion of other things. And the thing is, too, when you have the transit of the south node, it doesn't supplant or replace your natal south node placement. The natal south node placement is there, it's sustained, during the course of your life, even though it's more emphasized and accentuated in that first half of life. But it's still there, it's still a constant. You still could be manifesting that energy, to some degree during the course of your life. The transit of the south node is just there really during the time uh, of the transit. So anyway, well, another thing too, is to, keep in mind that the natal south node is connected with, overdeveloped, and redundant qualities. If you have your natal south node in Aquarius, it could be very, eccentric, very non-conforming, rebellious, very unpredictable behavior. I'm not saying you're going to be climbing the walls, with suction cups on your hands like Spider-Man if you have this placement, but It can indicate, someone's just being unique for the sake of being different, even when it's not even necessary. And the thing about this transit as well, it's really, again, the fact that the transit, the south node, the south node can be about people that played an integral role in your past. And the thing about it is they can be beneficial to you in things in your life that may be affecting you. Adversely, if you have your natal south node in Capricorn in the fourth house, say, it could be a very depressing or limiting home-related situation, or dealing with a very authoritative or cold or callous home or family member, or even expressing some negative, like Capricorn energies at the core you may have at the core, such as yourself maybe being overly ambitious or cold or undemonstrative or overly authoritative, as some examples. Now, another thing is that when you have this transit, as well, another way it could manifest, it could be about what you feel you have a natural ability for, maybe being blended in with what you have, as far as your more constant placement in terms of what you have, that natural proficiency. And if you have Virgo and Scorpio involved, say, it can be a propitious time for doing something with like analytical psychology or astrology, as some examples. And um, another thing is that, again, the south node is about what you could be leaving leaving behind. And when you have the transit, the south node, basically making a positive aspect to your natal south node, it can be very positive for leaving behind things that are negative, that are outdated. Remember that, keep in mind, when the transit south node is making sextile or trine to your natal south node, of course, the transit of the north node is making a sextile or trine to your natal south node. So what happened, the way this could be expressed, it could be an auspicious time to address and confront issues that may be affecting you negatively, and you may need to get away from. If you have your natal south node in Leo in the seventh house, is another example. It could be getting away from a very domineering or bombastic. It could be a marriage partner, or maybe even an important friendship. Um, as some examples, the south node is in Scorpio in the 12th house, and might be trying to deal with, at least getting away from to some degree. It could be some very, could be a vengeful hidden enemy. Maybe you need to, see who your real friends are at the time. Some isolated cases, maybe it's a controlling mental illness, and the 12th house is connected with mental illnesses, and it could be an obsessive compulsive thing. In fact, if it's in Scorpio. And anyway, now another way that this transit may manifest, it could be very positive and auspicious for going away from, which is the south node. It could be something that's affecting you to your detriment, which is the natal north south node. If the natal south node is in Aquarius in the 12th house, as an example, it could be emphasizing too much time on the internet and social media, which is Aquarius, and in solitude and seclusion, which is the 12th house. Now, also too, this transit can be auspicious to do something that you're naturally proficient or feel natural ability at the time, which is the south node, and being assisted by people that are playing an integral role in your past, which is your natal south node. Let's say if the transit south node is in Aries in the 5th house, it could be doing something with combat, which is Aries, and sports, which is the 5th house, or it could be just simply playing combat or war games, whether it's on the computer or it's in a board game type of form, as some examples. Now, it also could be propitious to leave behind, which is the south node, something maybe affecting you adversely and focusing on people that are prominent in your past. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now let's say if the natal south node, is in Taurus, those people, it could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, have a Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or embody those qualities or characteristics. It could be people that were very, loyal, steadfast, stable, solid, persistent, and they might have had a, stabilizing, impact, on your life. And the thing is, if you have the South Node in the 11th house, South Node and Taurus in the 11th house, it could be very stable, consistent, and very loyal and steadfast friends that you may have known. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.